His dog told him to go out and murder, son of Sam. What is the standard by which a man's life is judged? Is it because of the things he achieves? What is the total of his excellent deeds? Why accept something that is already frightening and unusual when you can make it even scarier and stranger? When it came to serial killer David Berkowitz, who revealed to authorities that he murdered 6 people in a series of attacks during the summers of 1976 and 77 on the orders of the dog who lived next door, things had already gotten a little strange. How will a dog lead a person to murder? Strange, isn't it? Let's explore more. The New York State of the United States was terrorized by an emerging serial killer known as the Son of Sam in the years 1976 to 1977. From 1976 to 1977, David Berkowitz, also known as Son of Sam, used a .44 caliber revolver to murder 6 people in New York City. He said that his landlord Sam Carr's demon-possessed black Labrador retriever gave him an order to kill people. On June 1, 1953, David Berkowitz was born. Richard David Falco was his birth name, and he was the result of an extramarital affair. In Brooklyn, he was born to a poor Jewish mother named Elizabeth Betty Broder. His mother put him up for adoption after he was born as a result of an extramarital affair. Nathan and Pearl Berkowitz, owners of a hardware store, adopted him. They used to be the residents of the Bronx. Nathan quickly understood that the adoption had been a mistake, and that he had no sympathy for his new son. Pearl, on the other hand, adored him and cherished her adoptive son. David was a loner and an aggressive child as a child. He was hit by a car when he was 7 years old and suffered severe brain injuries. He didn't have any friends. He was frustrated because he was not loved and accepted by society. He was said to be a bright child who did not engage in much social engagement. His personality development has been hampered by a lack of social interaction and introversion. During his childhood, he was bullied. Fire had always attracted him since he was a child. He enjoyed experimenting with fire. He lost his adopted mother, Pearl, when he was 14 years old in 1967. His mother passed away as a result of breast cancer. Pearl's death had a profound emotional and mental impact on him. David Berkowitz was no longer related to his adoptive father after his remarriage. Without him, his adoptive father relocated to Florida. He later learned about his adoption and became bitter of his biological parents as a result. In 1971, when he was 18 years old, he enlisted in the United States Army. He was a fantastic marksman. He even went to South Korea to serve. He was accepted into Bronx Community College but was unable to complete his studies. Later, David rented an apartment in Yonkers and worked for the U.S. Postal Service as a letter sorter. He was a lonely man, according to his neighbors, and his conduct was peculiar. He was reading the Satanic Bible, written by Anton Zander LaFay at the time. He began to believe that he was being manipulated by the devil. David Berkowitz began his killing spree in 1975, when he savagely stabbed a lady with a knife. She did not die, but she was severely injured. This was the start of the murderous rampage. In 1976, David Berkowitz shot and killed 2 adolescent females, Jodi Valenti and Donna Laria, who were seated in a car. One of them was murdered instantaneously, while the other sustained serious injuries. At the crime scene, he even left a letter for the New York Police Department. They were both slain on the spot. He used to play on young couples who were in a car. He used a .44 caliber revolver to carry out the shootings. With his gun, he began killing dogs, primarily German Shepherds, in the Bronx neighborhood in June 1976. When he was living in the Bronx, he killed his landlord Sam Carr, black Labrador retriever. He even threatened to kill several of his neighbors by stabbing them. Most of the time, his neighbors were terrified of him. Stacy Mockowitz and Bobby Violante, a young couple, were his most recent victims. He opened fire on them when they were out on a date in Brooklyn. Stacy was killed instantaneously, and Violante lost one of his eyes and was critically hurt in the other. Stacy Mockowitz was the final person he killed. His crimes were heinous and unmotivated. As a result, he became extremely dangerous. To apprehend the Son of Sam, the New York Police Department initiated Operation Omega. David Berkowitz occasionally wrote letters to the NYPD and even left a few notes at the crime scenes claiming to be the Son of Sam. 300 detectives and 45 psychiatrists were working around the clock to Operation Omega to interpret his letters and apprehend him. His reign of terror left New York in shambles. Couples stopped dating at night because women started cutting their hair short. This was one of the largest manhunts in New York's criminal history. A woman named Cecilia Davis had spotted David Berkowitz rapidly receiving a parking ticket at the crime scene of Stacy Moskowitz. The NYPD conducted a search of the region for all parking ticket collectors and discovered David's address. As a result, he was arrested. Berkowitz was apprehended by the NYPD on August 10, 1977, 11 days after Stacy's murder in Brooklyn. Soon after, he confessed to the NYPD. He stated that the devil had given him orders to kill those people. He was under the influence of Satan. He claimed that his landlord's black Labrador retriever communicated with him on behalf of Satan and instructed him to perform the atrocities. He also claimed that 2 of Sam Carr's sons were engaged with him. However, the NYPD discovered no such proof. He then revealed in a letter to his therapist, Dr. David Abramson, that the satanic scenario was a lie. In 1978, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 365 years in jail. At the prison, David Berkowitz converted to Christianity and addressed letters to his victims' families begging forgiveness. Since 2002, he's been eligible for parole. He, on the other hand, turned down every parole offer. He accepted the consequences of his actions. He's been dubbed an act process killer by criminologists. David Berkowitz was enamored with the fame and attention he was receiving from the media. To some extent, publicity encouraged him to conduct those crimes. He's been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia by experts. Some analysts believe his homicides were sexually motivated, and that killing those ladies aroused him sexually. To put it another way, David Berkowitz was not born a killer. Rather, society made him a killer. That's all for today, folks. I hope you liked this video. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel yet, press the red icon down below. Also, keep liking our videos for more amazing videos. Till then, adios.